You've spent your whole life being agreeable, predictable, safe. But have you ever wondered who you'd be without that filter? The world taught you to take up less space, to talk softer, move slower, to wait your turn. But here's the twist. That version of you, the one that blends in, was never going to make it. And then came Ego Jinpachi, a coach with no mercy, no sentiment, and one mission. You must become a weapon, he says. He doesn't want you to be liked. He wants you to evolve. But evolution in Blue Lock doesn't look graceful. It looks like losing your mind, like unleashing the monster you've spent your whole life trying to cage. Ego's not here to teach you manners. He's here to unleash the version of you that devours fear, devours doubt, and leaves nothing on the field. Because in Blue Lock, hesitation is a death sentence. Politeness is camouflage, and only the selfish survive. Why do you keep folding yourself into spaces that were never made for you? Your need to be liked is killing your potential. You hesitate before speaking your mind. You shrink when eyes are on you. You say yes when everything inside you is screaming no. Why? Because deep down, you've been wired to believe that belonging is survival. But what if that belief is actually the cage? Ego Jinpachi breaks this illusion like a hammer through glass. His entire philosophy is built on a single truth. The world doesn't need more good boys. It needs strikers. Modern psychology backs him up. Studies on conformity bias show that humans will betray their instincts just to fit in. In Solomon Ash's 1951 experiment, 75% of participants gave the wrong answer just because others did too. We crave approval like oxygen, but in Blue Lock, that's how you choke. Fitting in is emotional safety, but spiritual death. Think of Asagi in episode 4. He's caught between instinct and safety. The field opens, the moment beckons. He hesitates, not long, but long enough. In that pause, that fear, it almost costs him everything. But something changes. He hears Ego's words not as an insult, but as a call. He doesn't pass this time. He shoots, and it's messy, raw, imperfect, but it's his. That's the moment Asagi stops begging to belong and starts becoming. It's like not applying for that dream job because you're scared you're not ready, or staying in a friend group that dulls you just so you're not alone. You're not weak, you're just addicted to being accepted. You've been conditioned to blend in. But that voice inside you, the one that wants more, it isn't arrogance, it's a signal. This week, do one thing that risks rejection. Speak your truth, take your shot. Let them judge you, because the only thing worse than being disliked is never being seen at all. What if the part of you you're hiding is the part built to win? You've been told your whole life, don't be selfish, think of others first, don't stand out too much. But what if the real problem isn't selfishness? It's that you've never actually claimed yourself. Let's be real. Most people are scared of being too much. Too loud, too ambitious, too intense. So they dim their light to keep others comfortable. But then they wonder, why does life feel so muted? Why does nothing feel mine? Enter Baru Shui, the walking middle finger to every polite expectation. Baru doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't apologize for wanting to score. He refuses to pass, not out of spite, but because he knows something others haven't figured out. You don't find your power by blending in. You find it by owning your direction. This ties directly into psychology's internal locus of control. Dr. Julian Rotter defined it as the belief that you control your outcomes. Not luck, not people, not the system. People with internal locus, they don't wait to be chosen, they choose themselves. Baru Shui didn't just refuse to pass. He refused to kneel. And for a while, that stubborn pride became his prison. Episode 18. His king identity is shattered. Teammates mock him. The system outpaces him. He's no longer feared, just isolated. But Baru doesn't vanish. He mutates. He rebuilds the crown from scratch, but this time it's forged from clarity, not control. He doesn't dilute his instincts. He adapts them. He learns to share the field without surrendering his edge. And when the ball finally lands at his feet again, he doesn't just score. He reclaims his throne. That's not selfishness. That's self-possession. It's like the coworker who never speaks up in meetings, then wonders why they're never promoted. Or the artist who hides their boldest work because they're afraid it'll be misunderstood. They told you ego was the enemy. But what if your ego is the compass pointing you home? Here's your challenge. What's one decision you've been delaying just to avoid judgment? Make it. Own it. You don't need to be more likable. You need to be undeniable. You've been told to shrink your ego. But what if it's the only part of you that knows who you are? What if the version of you that's comfortable is the same one that's betraying your future? Here's the truth nobody likes to hear. Mediocrity isn't a lack of talent. It's a habit of hesitation. You know that moment when you're mid-project and you suddenly second-guess everything? You freeze, you scroll, you tell yourself, maybe I'm not ready yet. And just like that, growth dies quietly in the name of maybe. But here's the thing. Growth isn't about feeling ready. It's about getting sick of being stuck. In Blue Lock, Asagi doesn't become a monster by lifting heavier weights or grinding extra hours. He evolves because he gets angry at his own limits. Modern neuroscience backs this up. The brain rewires itself under stress. This is called neuroplasticity. You don't transform by chanting affirmations in front of a mirror. You transform by friction, by putting your identity under pressure and watching what cracks and what survives. Midway through Blue Lock, Asagi starts realizing that talent isn't enough. He's up against monsters. Rin, Nagi, Baru, who seem faster, smarter, better. He watches himself on film. He analyzes his failures. And then he does something rare. He doesn't quit. He redesigns himself mid-tournament. During the match, he rewrites his playstyle in real time. He stops playing reactively and starts seeing the field like a chessboard. Not faster, smarter. Sharper. He adapts or dies. And in that moment, he mutates. It's like when you're halfway through a job or a relationship or a goal, and everything in you whispers, this isn't it. But instead of evolving, you stay. Because familiarity feels safe, even when it's killing you. Here's what no one tells you. Growth requires grief. You have to mourn the version of you that wanted less. You have to bury the comfort that kept you small. And that hurts, but it's the only way forward. Audit your life. Where are you hesitating? Where are you repeating what's easy instead of choosing what's necessary? Write it down, then take one uncomfortable step today. Not next week, not next year, today. Because if it doesn't scare you, it won't change you. You say you want to grow, but are you ready to meet the version of you that has no excuses left? Because buried under all your self-doubt is a monster. And the scariest part, it looks exactly like you. Most people aren't afraid of failure. They're afraid of what they might become if they stop playing small. What if you really did take the shot? What if you stopped pleasing everyone and became who you actually are? That version of you, it doesn't wait. It doesn't ask for permission. It devours. And that's terrifying because it means no more hiding. In psychology, Carl Jung called this shadow work. Facing the parts of yourself you've repressed, your ambition, your rage, your selfishness, your hunger, the parts of you that don't play nice, that don't blend in. But those aren't flaws, they're fuel, and when you integrate them, you become whole. Jung once said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Translation, stop trying to be pure, start trying to be real. In Blue Lock, Asagi's breakthrough doesn't come from more training. It comes when he finally admits what he really wants, to dominate, to win, to devour. He stops playing the nice guy. He stops chasing validation. And for the first time, he sees the field like a predator, not a participant. He's not apologizing for wanting more. He's owning it. And that's when everything changes. Think of a time you held back, maybe in a relationship, a job, a creative project. You had the answer, the idea, the move, but you didn't take it. Why? Because deep down, it felt dangerous to shine. You feared your own potential more than the world's judgment. Here's the truth most self-help books dodge. You don't find yourself by becoming someone new. You find yourself by confronting what you've been running from. And that includes the version of you that wants to win. You've been told to tame your hunger, to soften your edges, to blend. But that hunger, that edge, it's the signal you are meant for something more. Sit down today and write this. What is the version of me that I'm afraid to become? Then ask, what am I really afraid will happen if I let them out? And here's your answer. Not chaos, not ruin, freedom. Who are you when no one's watching? That's the player the world's waiting to meet. You are not born to be a bench warmer in your own life. The world doesn't reward the polite. It rewards the precise, the focused, the ones who shoot when it counts. Blue Lock isn't just a soccer program. It's a mirror, a battleground for identity. Every player who steps into that prison isn't just chasing a dream. They're shedding a skin, killing a false self, and becoming something no one, not even they, expected. Asagi, Baru, Rin, even Ego. Each of them had to destroy the comfort that once protected them. And so do you. Picture this. You, standing alone. No applause, no coach, no second chances. Just a ball, a goal, and silence. This is your life. This is the match, and you get to decide. Will you pass the ball again, or will you take the shot? You don't need permission. You need vision.